Hello, I am John the Verbose, and this video is about the Reformed Druids of North America in general. And this is because I have been reading a lot of my original source material that I have here. This is the Carleton Druid collection. There are many writings of the Reformed Druids, and the current second edition of the Reformed Druid Anthology, I should say a Reformed Druid Anthology, is like 848 pages long, and there's an entire section on meditations, the Green Books of Meditation, that's another 800 and something pages long, and that's still growing. So I've heard a rumor that the third edition is about 3,000 pages long. So in 2016, I have so far had 3 public speaking events in which I've talked about Reformed Druidry. And so in my cross-referencing and fact-checking, I have found so much joy in reading books from the anthology. And there's one in particular that's it's a very short one. And it was written by David Frangquist, the third Arch-Druid of Carleton College Grove, in 1965 when he was still a student at Carleton, on what is Reformed Druidism. And this is only 2 pages facing each other, but it's a delightful quick read, and it's so concise, and I think he sums it up very well. He is, after all, one of the founders. So I shall just read his works, one of his works. He has written very prolifically in the Reformed Druids. So this is What is Reformed Druidism? Reformed Druids of North America by David Frangquist, 1965. Reformed Druidism has its beginning at Carleton College in the spring of 1963 as a protest to the college's requirement that all students attend a certain number of religious services or meetings. One of the ways of fulfilling the requirement was by attending services of one's own religion. The Reformed Druids of North America proposed to test the degree of freedom permitted under this clause. Druidism was ideal for this attack. It had a perfect combination of exotic ritual, plus some relevance to the so-called Judeo-Christian tradition. If religious credit were granted, the religious requirement would be exposed as totally ineffective. If, on the other hand, credit were denied, the college would be charged with bigotry. The initial attitude of the college was, if we ignore them, they'll go away. But the RDNA not only refused to go away, it grew, acquiring an advisor and becoming a registered college organization. In June 1964, the religious requirement was repealed. Even though the Druids rejoiced in this triumph, they recognized that their job was not over. For many members, the movement had come to represent a valuable part of their spiritual lives. So there was the importance of continuing the RDNA as a protest of all coerced religion. Principles. Druidism boasts its lack of institutionalized dogma. Each Druid is required only to adopt these basic tenets. One of the ways in which the object of man's search for religious truth can be found is through nature, the Earth Mother. Nature, being one of the primary concerns in man's life and struggle, and being of one of the objects of creation, is important to man's spiritual quests. The phrase objects of creation does not necessarily imply a single creator, but it does imply an important link between the spiritual and the material realms. In Reformed Druidism, the material realm, nature, is personified as the Earth Mother. The abstract essence of the universe, in opposition to the material world, is referred to as Baal, from a word which the ancient Celts applied to an abstract supreme being. The object of man's search is called awareness, and it is defined as unity with Baal. Ritual. In accord with the basic tenets, all Reformed Druid worship must be directed toward nature. For this reason, many customs and rituals of the ancient Druids, who were essentially nature worshippers, are retained. Druid worship must, insofar as possible, be held in the out-of-doors an oak grove or a hill or other prominence is ideal, according to ancient Druid custom. The officiating Druids, and others who so wish, ought to be clad in long white robes, the robe of the Arch-Druid having a distinctive decoration or color. The waters of life are usually passed to all present as a symbol of the link man has with nature. Incantation and other ancient Celtic ritual is also used, but in Reformed Druidism, human sacrifice is out. In order to focus attention on nature, various aspects of it retain the names of their corresponding Celtic gods and goddesses. Dalanaplandu, the grove; Granos, healing springs; Brachiaca, malt; Belinos, the sun; Sirona, goddess of rivers; Tyrannus, thunder and lightning; Lear, the sea; Danu, fertility. Festivals. Druid festivals correspond to important dates of the Druid year. Celebration always begins at sundown the previous evening, and includes bonfires and revelry appropriate to the season. Samhain, November 1st, Halloween, begins the period of Gevra. Midwinter, the winter solstice, day of the Yule log. Imbolc, February 1st, begins the period of Arch. Beltane, May 1st, May Day, begins the period of Saura. Midsummer, the summer solstice. Lunasa, Brontrad, August 1st, day for gatherings and feasts, begins the period of Thor. The phases of the moon also ought to be followed closely. A new venture should be begun only when the moon is waxing, an old one consummated only when it is waning. The night of the full moon is a time of rejoicing, while the night of the new moon is a solemn occasion, calling for vigils and meditation. Organization. Each organization, known as a grove, has 3 officers: an Arch-Druid, who must be a third-order priest or higher, to direct worship; a preceptor, who must be at least a second-order Druid to handle business matters; and a server to assist the Arch-Druid. To become a first-order Druid, a person must partake of the waters of life and affirm his acceptance of the basic tenets listed under principles above. To become a second-order Druid, one must pledge himself to the service of Druidism, as well as have an understanding of basic Druidism. To become a third-order priest, one must dedicate himself to a life of Druidic inquiry, the beginning of which is an all-night outdoor vigil. Higher orders of the priesthood, up to the 10th, are reserved for outstanding insight and dedication over a period of time. They are similar to academic degrees, and that they represent personal achievement, but carry no special authority. Each order of the priesthood is dedicated to one of the 8 aspects of nature mentioned under ritual. Purpose. On a superficial level, it might now seem that the purpose of Reformed Druidism is merely to delve into the strange customs and rituals of the ancient Celts, and to have some fun doing it, and also to serve as a new and different type of protest movement. But on deeper examination of the RDNA, it might be said to have 2 important purposes. 1. It offers a reasonable alternative for the person who cannot stomach organized religion, or who feels that it is somehow deficient, and it hopes that its exotic forms of worship will appeal to the rebel. 2. In communing with nature, it seeks to promote a spirit of meditation and introspection, aimed ultimately at awareness of religious truth. So that, according to David Frangquist, is, in a nutshell, Reformed Druidism. Thank you. And hey, stop sucking. Mosquitoes are eating me alive. I'm gonna die.